I'd like to call the Warwick County School Corporation Board of School Trustees meeting to order for the April 22nd, 2024 meeting. Would you please stand and join us for a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance?
Yes. And for our moment of silence, I just wanted to say, as many of you know, an accident occurred this morning that impacted several of our schools and families. So during this moment of silence, please keep all of the families, our students and staff, our Warwick County School Corporation crisis team, and all of the first responders in your thoughts and prayers, please.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Item 3 is patron concerns, and we have them, so we will move on to agenda item number 4, recognition of the 2023-24 Student Think Tank. Dr. Redmond.
Good evening. It's absolutely my pleasure tonight to talk a little bit about the group of students who are in front of you this evening. We started a student think tank a couple of years ago when Dr. Lambert was here, and it's just been my absolute pleasure and joy to be able to work with these students this school year. What happens is we reach out to the building principals, club sponsors, coaches, band, choir, a lot of the leaders at our 3 high schools, and then they reach out to students and encourage them to fill out the application. So once we get all the applications in, then we just take a look at who might be a good fit. We're looking for a variety of different experiences and backgrounds, and then we come up with that given year's student think tank. Of course, if they've been chosen to be on Think Tank, then they get to remain on until they graduate, as long as they want to continue to participate. And a few people have done this at least a couple of years at this point. What I love about this group in front of you tonight is that they are always honest with me. They will bring concerns and items to the agenda. I sometimes bring concerns and items to the agenda, and we have a real discussion about those things. The other thing that is so impressive about this group, and a lot of our adults in this world right now could learn from them, is we can actually have civil discussion. We can disagree. Sometimes we do disagree. Sometimes there's disagreement among the students, and we're able to have those conversations and think about different viewpoints and perspectives. And I so appreciate that about all of you, and it gives me such hope to think about our future and what that means in our world and society. I'm excited. They don't know this yet, but in our last meeting next month, as you know, we have a new no devices during instructional time law that has come out for starting for next school year. So I can't wait to put that in front of them, talk through that, get their input before we make our local school policy. And I can't wait to hear their thoughts on that next month. So at this time, I'm going to announce all of the names of the students, whether they are here or not. When I call your name, for those of you who are here, please just come stand up, turn around and face this direction, please. Okay? Okay. Boonville High School, Owen Phillips, 12th grader, and I believe this is Owen's second year. Correct? Yes. Alyssa Straw, 11th grader. Lizzie Fardig is not here this evening. She's grade 11. Sydney Thomas, grade 11. And Maggie Barr, grade 10. From Castle High School, Alyssa Corba, grade 12, and she's been a 2-year member. Madeline Stewart, grade 12. Jenna Smith, 11th grader. Calliana, 10th grader. And Miriam Jones, we know her as MJ, 9th grader. And Tecumseh High had 3 students who were invited. 2 of them have had real difficulty with their schedule and haven't been able to come to our meetings. One of the students, Andy Allen, who's a 9th grader, she has been able to attend, but she had a track meet this evening. So I appreciate Andy. And then just shout out to Amber Schaefer and Brad Heichelbeck just for being nominated and being asked to be part of the team, even though they haven't been able to participate. So I just love to give you guys a round of applause, and then if you could turn around and shake hands with the board.
Congratulations, thank you, thank you, keep it up.
I know, it's a weird.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for doing this. Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes, I know.
Yeah. Congratulations, Mike. Congratulations. Oh, yeah.
Oh, look at that. Great. Love them. Love them. Thank you. Moving on to agenda item number 5, consideration of routine business. Approve the minutes of the school board meeting held on April 8th, 2024, and approve the claims and sign the dockets. Dr. Redmond.
The following routine items include approving the minutes of the school board meeting held on April 8, 2024, and approving the claims and signing the docket of April 22, 2024. I recommend the board approve these routine items as presented.
So moved.
We have a motion by Mr. Baker,
I'll second that.
a second by Mr. Franz. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Item 6, consideration of items for board action. Dr. Ray.
Thank you, Mrs. Wilhelmus. Tonight, Dr. Walter Lambert has brought to the board an updated policy 1500 home rule powers. This policy has been revised with updated language. The first reading of this updated policy took place on April 8th of 2024, last meeting. The second reading will occur tonight, at which time the board may choose to take action. Remember, I will just read the summary paragraph about the policy, but as always, the public can find all of our proposed policy and current policy on our website. 1500 Home Rule Powers. The Board of School Trustees of the Warwick County School Corporation is authorized to conduct all the powers needed for the effective operation of the school corporation, including all powers granted to the board by statute or through rules adopted by the state board. In addition, the board is authorized to conduct all other powers necessary or desirable in the conduct of the school corporation's affairs, even if power is not granted by statute or rule, but is authorized by the Indiana Home Rule statute, to the extent that the power is expressly denied by the Constitution of the state of Indiana, by statute or by rule of the state board, and is not expressly granted to another entity. I recommend the board approve the update policy as presented.
I would like to make that motion to approve.
Okay, motion by Mr. Mosby, second by Mrs. Glover. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Item 6B, consider adding high school horse offerings. Dr. Redmond.
Thank you. In your board packet, you will find a request from Director of Learning, Mr. Jason Fisher, to add the following Indiana Department of Education approved high school offerings for the 24-25 school year: finance and investment, and elective PE team sports. I recommend the board approve the addition of the courses as presented.
So moved.
We have a motion by Mr. Baker.
Second.
Second by Mr. Iver. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Item 6C, consider accepting donations. Dr. Redmond.
Thank you, Mrs. Wilhelmus. In your board packet, you will find the following donation requests. For Boonville High School, a $4,000 donation from Karen Etkovich and a $2,000 donation from Emily Gardner for the Boonville boys soccer teams. I recommend the board approve these requests as presented.
So moved.
We have a motion by Mrs. Glover, second by Mr. Franz. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Item 6D, recommendation of supplemental salary increases. Dr. Redmond.
Thank you. During the current school year, the Administration and Teachers Association agreed upon adjustments and modifications to the language in the evaluation rubric, retroactive to the beginning of this school year. These changes provide an opportunity, additional to the previously stated protocol, for teachers in unique or unfortunate circumstances to meet the requirements for earning the current year's salary adjustment. We have 2 teachers who fell into such situations this past year, as noted in the board packet. I recommend that the board approve supplemental salary increases for them equal to the negotiated pay raise that they would have otherwise received from the 23-24 contract negotiations.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion by Mr. Eigner.
Second.
Second by Mr. Mosby. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Item 7, consideration of personnel recommendations. Dr. Gresham.
Thank you, Mrs. Wilhelmus. The Human Resources Office has the following business to bring before the board tonight. Agenda item A, consideration of employment, and all of these certified staff and support staff positions are for the 24-25 school year. Christian Suarez, Spanish teacher at Castle High School. Susanna Whitecotton, science teacher at Castle South Middle School. Jonathan Andrews, social studies teacher at Castle North Middle School. Joshua Pemberton, industrial tech teacher at Castle High School. And the support staff position of Stephanie DuPont, library aide at Tennyson Elementary School.
We have a motion to approve by Mr. Franz.
I second.
Second by Mrs. Glover. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Dr. Gresham.
Thank you. Agenda item B, consider naming varsity coach Ashley Breibogle, varsity volleyball coach at Tecumseh High School.
I'd like to make the motion to approve.
We have a
Second.
motion by Mr. Mosby, a second by Mr. Baker. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Dr. Gresham.
Thank you. Agenda item C, consider termination Stephanie McNeely, a temporary program assistant at Chandler Elementary School, termination effective April 22nd, 2024.
So moved.
We have a motion by Mr. Baker, second by Mr. Franz. Is there any discussion?
That is me, and if I would like to stand up eventually and talk about that.
We're past our public comment section on the board meeting, but I would be happy to touch base with you afterward if you would like to set up a time to speak with me. I would be more than happy to schedule time for that with
Yes,
you.
ma'am.
I will do that, yes. Just stay after the meeting. Okay.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Dr. Gresham.
Thank you, Mrs. Wilhelmus. Agenda item D, leave requests. Karen Freeman, kindergarten teacher at Sharon Elementary School. Jamie Pryor, principal at Oakdale Elementary School. And Haley Bennett, language arts teacher at Castle High School. And if you're looking at a printed copy of Ms. Bennett's, it might say April 2nd. The corrected date is actually April 4th for the start of that leave.
I move to approve.
Second.
Sorry, it took me a second. I was looking to correct that. Okay, we had a motion by Mrs. Glover, a second by Ms. Mosby. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Dr. Gresham.
Thank you, Mrs. Wilhelmus. Agenda item E, report of transfers for the 24-25 school year. William Wilder, health teacher at Castle High School. Rebecca Warscheib and Kate Maurer, special education preschool teachers at WEC. Karen Smith, Christine Krogman, Kelsey Davis, Brittany Dennis, and Courtney Kirby will all be program assistants at WEC, with Sarah Steinhauer being the ABS program assistant at WEC. Christy Held, a special education teacher at Newburgh Elementary. Dana Peebler, a special education teacher at Boonville High. Taylor Hedinger, third grade teacher at Elberfeld Elementary. Rebecca Tooley, fifth grade teacher at Logue Elementary. Charlene Christmas, special education and general education teacher at Tennyson Elementary. Felicia Smith, Christy Brown, and Holly Mullen will be program assistants at Boonville High School. Jessica Hernandez, a special education at Boonville High School. And Mark Poston, a custodian at Boonville Middle School. Agenda item F, report of early return. Courtney Houghton, secretary treasurer at Newburgh Elementary School, has filed appropriate paperwork to return early from her previously approved leave of absence. Agenda item G, change in resignation date. Jorge Algueron Santos, Spanish teacher at Castle High School, is changing his resignation date from July 1st, 2024 to April 26th, 2024. Agenda item H, resignations. Beth Locke, library aide at Tennyson Elementary School, resignation effective May 23rd, 2024. Bryant King, fourth grade teacher at John H. Castle Elementary School, resignation effective May 24th, 2024. Linda Brown, custodian at Yankeetown Elementary School, resignation effective April 12th, 2024. Haley Bond, 4.75-hour cafeteria position at Castle North Middle School, resignation effective April 15th, 2024. Kristen Anderson, preschool special education teacher at Logue Elementary School, resignation effective June 1st, 2024. And agenda item I, retirements. Gwen Falk, second grade teacher at Oakdale Elementary School, retirement effective June 1st, 2024. Dale Teepee, class D maintenance, retirement effective June 1st, 2024. And Tana Orth, transition coordinator, retirement effective May 30th, 2024.
Thank you, Doug. Moving on to agenda item number 8, reports. Dr. Redmond.
Yes, tonight, Dr. Walter Lambert is going to give a report about our upcoming window that will open in regard to transfers. So he's going to just talk through that process so everyone's aware what's happening when that window opens.
You can have a copy here of the non-resident transfer slots that will open up. We do this every year where we have to advertise that and let you all know. Now, these numbers are preliminary. They may change before Monday when we post it. We will open up or May 1st, sorry, when we post this. They may change between now and then. So getting a little bit of input from the schools themselves. But so far, everything's come back pretty close to what I've come up with. So again, these would be numbers for non-resident transfers. So anybody outside of the county that would want to transfer into the corporation, these would be the slots that are open and what schools are open at. I do get the question as if we have a school that only has 5 available positions and we get like 10 applicants, we will have to do a lottery, a public lottery that we will hold that on July 2nd or whatever days after the first deadline. And we will do that lottery at that point. The state did take away transfer tuition, so that's something that's different this year that we will be dealing with but going forward. And we can only deny students that are non-residents due to discipline issues and attendance issues. Grades and anything else we can deny for that. And then the last thing too, all of our specialized programs, like our higher ability programs, our special education programs that are like multi-ed, abs, things like that, they're closed because they're full. And then you'll also see a list of the schools right now that are closed to any and all non-resident transfers. This doesn't include anybody that's currently in the system. So if they're in the system, they're already counted in, they're going. As long as they're in good standing, they'll go forward. This does not count in for intra-corp transfers. We did transfers from somebody that might be at Newburgh and mom and dad work up at Tecumseh and they want to take the child up there. So that's that intra-corp transfer. That doesn't count in these numbers well. These would just be new add-on non-resident students. And like I said, we'll post this on May 1st with the application and we'll go from there. Any questions?
I guess I was unaware about the state taking the transfer. I mean, any further conversation about that? They just took it away, huh?
They took it away.
They took it
Yes,
away.
they took it away.
Yeah.
Did they move the count date later so that these transfer students should be included in?
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
They will be
included in our.
included in, we will get ADM
Yes.
funding
Yeah.
for them. We just cannot charge them a fee to come into our district.
That's
So
what I'm
Vanderbilt
talking
County
about,
fee.
yeah.
Because that was the amount relating to property taxes, wasn't that what that was about?
Todd could speak to the,
What was
how
it,
the
Todd?
previous, but it's irrelevant at this point, but
No, it's actually, when you calculate transfer tuition, the ADM is the dollar of state tuition supports gets. We then have to use the formula, did have to use the formula, all the way through July. I mean, we actually get a charge for this past school year. But use that formula to calculate what it actually costs to educate a student in each of the specific categories. The difference between that number and the ADM tuition support number is what we get to collect. Usually it's between $700 and $1,200 per student, the additional dollar costs. So it's not intended to make up for property tax. It is intended to make up for the cost of educating them in operational costs, educational costs, things like that.
But moving forward, the only funding is related to ADM.
Yes.
Right.
Moving forward. But again, we get to, like, we'll have, we just sent out billing for this current school year.
That's what this is for.
So that we can go back and collect, but we just can't go forward.
Okay, but so, and I know this is a state conversation, right? So we can't do anything here, but just so I understand, we get our funding, but apparently there is a gap, right, from people who come from outside our county to, and that gap, we used to charge a little bit for just operations, okay? And now we can't have that because the state says we can't charge, but we're still incurring those costs, so we're absorbing some costs
Well,
on those students. It's costing us more money to, right? Maybe I didn't say that the right way.
no, what you're saying would be exactly correct if things weren't random samples. I mean, some kids, when you add a kid to a third grade class that's 19 students,
Yeah.
you add that student and it's now 20. Well, it didn't cost us $1 more to educate that child. We got $6,000 more. Now, some cases, it's the other way around. But as an all-encompassing, charging the tuition was the guarantee that we would come out ahead. But it does not do so anymore.
Right.
But there are a lot of instances, which it's so important why Walter's got to put these numbers together, that we're not allowing someone to enroll that causes us to hire another teacher. So we don't want, we don't want to have 24 kindergartners at Elberfeld and go, you know what, let's let 3 more come, and they go, now we need 2 teachers.
Do we have the ability to say no, though?
That's what.
That's why-
It's putting caps on those numbers.
Okay, because of that.
Yes. So just for clarity, Walter has done a lot of work with the building principals, looking at projected numbers for next year to see where do we actually have space that would not require us to hire additional
Right.
staff.
Yeah.
And that's how he came to the numbers in this document.
Yeah.
And
So
we're
when
not
it posts
required to
out-
hire additional staff.
So when it posts
No,
out to the
yeah.
public, the only spots available will be the ones that Walter lists. And as he said, if we happen to get more requests than the number of spots we have open, then we go to lottery.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Walter.
Interesting.
Good. What about the fees? Do we have any numbers or like how much it's costing in curricula and
For,
the state has,
for all students or for transfer
no,
students?
for all students? I just wondered how that's going. Will we get a report at some time?
We can do that. Todd, they're asking about where we landed since we are no longer allowed to charge fees or textbook rentals. So could we pull that number together? I know you can speak to it off the cuff, but could we pull that number together then to know where we landed, please?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And it will be a positive report, correct?
It actually is.
Thank you.
Good.
Business?
Okay.
Moving on to agenda item number 9, other board business. The 13th of May, we will start here at 6:30 with a personnel, food and nutrition and custodial meeting. And then on 5/14, the construction and pathways and career committee will meet out at WPCC at 7:30. Also, April 30th is our ISBA regional meeting for those of you who have signed up to go. And we'll get information later about what time we're leaving and that type of thing. Okay? And that's all I have. Any other meetings?
Yeah, May 1st at 8:30, Special Education and Transportation meets at the Administration Building. That's a Wednesday, May 1st.
Policy and curriculum will meet May 13th, 5:30 here at Central Services.
And then we'll have graduation.
And then we have graduations around the corner, which is.
Oh, that's right.
I just, it's very hard to believe we're talking about graduation. Speaking of that, Laura did send copies of the students who will be graduating this year. So as always, if there are particular students that you would like to be able, the person to hand the diploma to that student, make sure Laura has those names so we can get those back to the building so they can coordinate that. Thank you.
Any other business? All right, thank you. Meeting adjourned.